Why are jury instructions for reasonable doubt so ambiguous? Imagine sitting in a courtroom, listening to instructions that seem to dance around the idea of what it means to be sure beyond a reasonable doubt. It's like trying to catch a shadow, hard to pin down and easy to misinterpret. That's because explaining reasonable doubt is not straightforward. The concept itself is tricky to define in a way that fits every case and every jury. Reasonable doubt is a standard that asks jurors to be convinced of guilt based on the evidence presented. But it stops short of asking for absolute certainty or mathematical proof. This creates a balancing act. Judges want to make sure jurors understand they need to be very sure, but they also don't want to make the standard so strict that it's impossible to meet. That's why instructions often seem vague or open to interpretation. Another reason for the ambiguity is that jurors come from all sorts of backgrounds. Some might have legal training, but most are everyday people. They need to understand that doubt should be based on reason and common sense, not just guesswork or assumptions. But translating that abstract idea into simple words is tough. Different judges and courts use different phrases to explain it, which can make the instructions seem inconsistent or confusing. Courts are also cautious about how they define reasonable doubt because they don't want to mislead jurors. If instructions are too detailed or filled with technical language, jurors might get confused or think the standard is different from what it really is. Some instructions describe reasonable doubt as a moral certainty or a grave uncertainty, but those words can be interpreted in many ways. Sometimes, trying to clarify the standard makes it even more confusing. Legal decisions have shaped how courts approach these instructions. They've ruled that if jury instructions are unclear or misleading, the verdict can be overturned. This is because the standard of proof is a constitutional safeguard to protect the accused. So, courts walk a fine line. They want instructions to be clear enough to avoid mistakes, but flexible enough to let jurors do their job. In practice, some jurisdictions give no specific definition at all, leaving jurors to figure it out on their own. Others provide model instructions that try to strike a balance. When jurors ask questions during deliberation, judges must respond carefully, avoiding redefinition of the standard or causing confusion. All of this shows that the ambiguity of reasonable doubt instructions isn't accidental. It's a result of the challenge to explain a high standard of proof in a way that's both legally accurate and understandable. This ambiguity reflects the important role juries play. They must carefully weigh evidence and protect the presumption of innocence without being misled by confusing language.